Boo! This is Longwood, Florida, the Bradlee-McIntyre House, and it's not October, not remotely October. I'm a ghost. I've resided in this house, or houses technically, since we relocated in 1973, since sometime in the late 1800s, and I have a very clear seasonal schedule. Dramatic window rattling, October only. Ominous cold spots, October only. Lights flickering meaningfully during psychic investigations, also generally October. But apparently someone needs a tour narrated today, in whatever month this actually is. Look at her, the Bradlee Mac, they call her affectionately. Queen Anne style, that castle-like tower, the steep angled gabled roof. Nathaniel Bradlee designed this, wealthy Boston architect. Built it as a vacation cottage, finishing touches applied in 1888, though the poor man died that December, barely got to enjoy his own creation, barely got to become a ghost in it, honestly, though I won't speak for what he's up to these days. We don't all end up haunting the same properties. This house wasn't even originally here. Started in Altamont Springs, right next to the Altamont Hotel, mirror image to a house built for Henry Westinghouse's brother. Very fashionable neighborhood for wealthy New Englanders escaping cold winters. Let's go inside. I'll show you around. Try to contain my seasonal enthusiasm. The foyer. First impression for the Bradlees' guests, back when this was an active vacation home instead of a museum. This led to several entertaining rooms, plus what was once the butler's pantry. Servants moving efficiently between spaces, guests arriving in their winter finery. The whole performance of wealthy 1880s hospitality. I've watched thousands of visitors pass through this exact spot now. Different centuries, different purposes. No longer wealthy Bostonians escaping snow, now tourists and school groups and history enthusiasts. Same wooden floors, though. Same general geometry of arrival and welcome. I won't be dramatically appearing in this doorway today, for the record. Saving that for October. Let's continue. Here, the entertaining room. Look at this. Table set, chandelier hanging just so, fireplace ready for a fire that hasn't been lit in over a century, and that Victrola in the corner. Everything arranged like time simply stopped. Like the Bradlees just stepped out momentarily and might return any second to resume their evening. I remember evenings here, actually. Music playing, not from that Victrola, obviously, that came slightly later, but live music, conversation, the particular energy of wealthy people relaxing during their Florida winter escape. The furniture is period appropriate, mostly donated over the decades by community members who understood this house's significance. Some pieces actually belong to the McIntyre family, who lived here from 1904 until 1946. I watched both families, honestly. The Bradlees first, briefly, then decades of McIntyres after they purchased the house in 1904. Different eras, different decorating sensibilities, but this room maintained its purpose throughout, a space for gathering, for hospitality, for the particular southern-adjacent Florida version of New England formality. I'd demonstrate exactly how the chandelier used to swing ominously, but again, off-season. You'll have to imagine the ambiance yourselves, the card room, where gentlemen would have retreated for cards, cigars, probably some discussion of business or politics away from the more general socializing happening elsewhere. That portrait, Abraham Lincoln. And there, a younger Ulysses S. Grant, before all his more famous accomplishments. Interesting choices for wall decoration, though very appropriate for a wealthy northern family's Florida vacation home during this particular era of American history. Cards, cigars, and appropriate nationalistic decoration. I overheard countless conversations in this room, decades of them. Business deals, political opinions, Probably some genuinely terrible card-playing decisions made after too much brandy. I don't miss much about being definitively alive, but I'll admit, I do miss actually being able to play cards instead of just watching endlessly from whatever dimension I currently occupy. Let's continue to dinner. The formal dining room. Those china cabinets. Actual period pieces, filled with the kind of formal dinnerware wealthy families used for entertaining important guests. Imagine the dinners hosted here. Multiple courses, formal service, probably conversations about Boston society or business interests or whatever mattered to wealthy 1880s, New Englanders wintering in Florida. This room saw real elegance, real formality, the kind of dining experience that required specific etiquette, specific service protocols, an entire choreography of hospitality that's mostly disappeared from contemporary life. I remember specific dinners, actually. Won't bore you with details. Privacy matters, even for ghosts observing historical households. But this room hosted genuine moments of connection, celebration, occasionally tension, when family or business matters grew complicated. The china survived remarkably well, considering everything this house has been through. Relocations, near destruction, decades of restoration work. Objects persist longer than people generally. I'd know. Let's head upstairs now. Then, in the 1970s, the fire department wanted to burn this place down. Training exercise. Can you imagine? After everything this house witnessed, someone wanted to torch it for practice. The Longwood Historic Society said absolutely not. Formed in 1969 specifically to save this house. 4 years of fundraising, moved it here in 1973 to sit on land donated by Grace Bedford. I moved with it, obviously. Wasn't about to let them relocate my house without me. This large bedroom, outfitted with vintage furniture, representing the more private, personal spaces of the house. I know what you're thinking. This is apparently where a previous resident reported seeing a figure in the doorway when she was younger. I'm not saying it was me. I'm also not saying it wasn't me. I'm saying off-season. I don't do dramatic doorway appearances outside of proper Halloween scheduling. Though I will say, children often see things adults have trained themselves not to notice. Might have just been residual energy. Might have been actual paranormal activity. Might have simply been shadows and childhood imagination. Look at those dresses, laid out on the bed and day sofa. Beautiful period clothing, carefully preserved. Showing exactly what fashionable women wore during this era. And that, a cane made from alligator bones. Very Florida. Very specifically regional artifact that wouldn't make sense in a Boston version of this same wealthy household. Adaptation, really. Wealthy New Englanders bringing their formal sensibilities south, then incorporating distinctly Floridian materials and influences into their winter homes. This room held real lives, real private moments. Dressing for dinner, quiet mornings, whatever personal rituals happened away from the more public entertaining spaces downstairs. And no, I will not be materializing in that doorway right now for demonstration purposes. Some traditions require proper seasonal timing. This room, where a self-proclaimed psychic once claimed he could feel emotional presence, then reported lights going out during his investigation. No one was around to flip that switch, apparently. I won't confirm or deny involvement, professional discretion. But I will say, electrical issues happen in century-old houses regardless of paranormal activity. Old wiring, older buildings. Sometimes things just malfunction. Sometimes. More men's items in here. That vintage bathing suit, quite different from contemporary swimwear, and a uniform from the Spanish-American War. 1898, that conflict. Brief but significant American military engagement. Whoever owned that uniform served during a pivotal moment in American expansion and foreign policy. I remember the actual bathing suit era, honestly. Watched families head to nearby springs and lakes, appropriately modest swimming attire covering significantly more skin than contemporary beach wear. Different modesty standards, different everything, really, between then and now. The nursery. Though the Bradlee children were likely already grown by the time this house was completed in 1888, toys probably remained available for visiting grandchildren or other young guests. Different energy in here. Less formal, more playful. Appropriate for whatever young visitors occasionally grace this vacation home. I have softer memories associated with this room, honestly. Children's laughter, however occasional, provided welcome lightness amid all the formal Victorian propriety happening elsewhere in the house. Ghosts aren't immune to appreciating joy, even when we're professionally required to seem spooky during appropriate seasonal windows. This room reminds me that wealthy, formal households still contain genuine warmth, genuine family connection, beneath all the social performance and elaborate entertaining. And here, the museum room. That portrait, Grace Bedford, the woman who donated this very land where we currently stand, allowing the Historic Society to relocate and save this house back in 1973. Without her generosity, this house simply wouldn't exist anymore. Would have burned in that fire department training exercise, lost entirely. Another piece of Florida history destroyed instead of preserved. I owe her considerable gratitude, honestly. Whatever afterlife arrangement allows me to continue existing within these walls, it only continues because Grace Bedford cared enough to donate land for this specific preservation purpose. This room serves as broader museum space now, documenting not just the Bradlee and McIntyre families specifically, but the whole preservation effort, the Historic Society's decades-long restoration work, the community donations that gradually transformed a condemned building back into this magnificent representation of period life. Recent additions, too, that washstand identified by Habitat for Humanity in Athens, Georgia, reunited with the house in 2021. First piece confirmed to date back to the Bradlee family's earliest days here. History keeps revealing itself, apparently. Even now, decades after relocation and restoration, new connections keep emerging. New pieces keep finding their way home. This house isn't finished being discovered, even after everything it's already survived. And that's the tour. Except, of course, for the third floor. We're not going up there. Tour guide says it's too hot. Sure, hot. That's definitely the reason. Look, I'm off season. I'm not supposed to be dramatic today. I'm not supposed to hint at things, imply mysterious presences, suggest that certain floors remain unexplored for reasons beyond simple temperature regulation. But between us, between you and me, having completed this entire reluctant off-season tour together, that third floor gets its own schedule, its own rules, its own, let's just say, residents who prefer significantly more privacy than the rest of us ghosts currently haunting the more publicly accessible floors. I don't go up there either, honestly. And I'm already dead. That should tell you something. Thank you for touring with me today, even though it's not my professional season. I'll be here, obviously. I'm not exactly going anywhere. Come back in October if you want the full experience. Properly ominous, appropriately dramatic, much more enthusiastic about doorway appearances and mysterious cold spots. Until then, I suppose I'll just continue my very undramatic, very off-season existence. Try to contain your disappointment. Boo!